Hi everyone, this is Priya from It's Okay Yaar, and if you're new today, It's Okay Yaar is a content platform for South Asian immigrants, and we aim to educate, entertain, and empower them. Today we have with us Immigration Lawyer Sonal Sharma from Sharma Law Associates. All our details I'll leave in the description box. If you follow us for a while, then you're not familiar with Sonal. You've seen her videos already. If you don't follow us, please consider hitting the subscribe button and leave a comment and tell us what you would like us to create. That would be helpful. So the topic for today is it's already really difficult to get any stamping dates in India. And now we are hearing that people are getting admin processing. So today we are going to cover what happens if you get an admin processing while you are going on an H1B stamping in your home country. We're going to discuss what that 221G is. We are going to discuss what are the steps you can take, the timeline, and potential costs of having a lawyer and how to respond to that. So, Sonal, welcome. And without further ado, if you could talk a little bit about what is admin processing and why do people get it on an H1B stamping, considering it's already so difficult to get dates? I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Sure. So 221G, as it normally called, is administrative processing. That's the term of the art. Administrative processing. It could mean anything, but it generally means that there are circumstances which require further internal discussion with the mission or with Department of State regarding your case or the information. Generally, it involves requiring an opinion from the Office of Legal Affairs of the Consulate Visa Office. So if you have gone for an H1B visa and you've been put in 221G, earlier it used to be called pink slip, you begin in that pink slip, then there could be a number of reasons. It could be listing, the documents that they want. Earlier, the issue was that they would inevitably ask for a copy of I-129, LCA, because they don't have access to that. So how it used to work was, whenever we used to file an H1B petition, we also used to send a duplicate copy for the Kentucky Center, which used to scan it and upload it into a system which is accessible to the consulate. So when you go with an approval, they used to match that approval number and then they would look at that. They have basically the whole filing in front of them. In case they don't have it, and that used to happen a lot, they would put it into 221G and ask you to submit forms, LCA, support letter, client letter, whatever that there was in the petition, to submit that. Once we knew that, we used to send people with all those documents ready so that you can give it to them right then and there, so that they don't issue a 221G because of those missing documents. But sometimes now it is like we don't have to send a second copy, because USCIS scans the petition as soon as it reaches the filing center, and then it's uploaded to a centralized database where all these agencies can access it. So it's rarely for now, these days, it's rarely for those kind of documents, 221G, but we still see it. If it is one of those, then it is very simple. You just give them, they generally give you an email address, you give them as soon as possible, send them the I-129 forms, LCA, whatever they have asked for, and you can send it. Sometimes they ask for extensive information, which includes from your employer, like all the H1B employee list, their receipt numbers, payroll of all the employees, and all of that. Now, there could be number of reasons why you're getting a 221G. It could be employer related, it could be employee related. If it is employer related, it's because maybe they have been blacklisted, they have filed some speculative filings in the past, or their track record is not good with the USCIS, and you have now approval with them. They just want to make sure that this is not another fraud petition they're doing, so they want to check even more, and it could be because of the employer, and at that point it's basically out of your control, right? Because it is what it is. Now, it could be employee related. Now, if it is employee related, there could be a database hit, which is basically USCIS has this adverse list that they maintain, like people they want to monitor, or they have some negative or derogatory information upon, where they want to monitor their movements, and they're like, some people are on no-fly list and all of those. So with India, the problem comes because we have so many people and the names are similar,
Very
right?
similar.
If say one Sonal Sharma was on the list and I go and my name is also Sonal Sharma,
Um,
and it kind of matches, then they need to clear that. They have to clear the hit and get the information and make sure that this is not the same person. So the person who is applying is not the same person whose name is on the list. So that could be one of the reasons. And the other reason is there is called a technology alert, which is basically if you're going for a visa, say F1, H1, whatever it could be, and your commercial purpose of going to the US or academic purpose is going to the US kind of raises concerns about illegal transfer of technology. So if you are like working with nuclear energy,
yeah,
that is gonna be kind of like raising the radar, just to make sure that it is not something that you are a spy of another country, or,
yeah,
some
yeah.
sensitive information is going to be transferred through you via your work or something like that. So they just want to make sure of that. So there could be a number of, there could be DUI pop up in your name,
Mm,
domestic violence restraining order pop up in your name when you went for H1B stamping. So all those things could be a reason where they need more clarification about you, your employer, the particular application. It could be anything. If it is like I want these documents, then the list, the document
mm.
221G will have that marked what you're supposed to submit. Sometimes it's just blank and they just give you a blank 221G
So you
saying
have
you're
no idea.
G, then you have no idea, and they're not required to give you any reason per se as well, because it could be database, it could be technology alert, it could be anything that they want to
So,
confirm via background check, it could be anything.
so what steps should someone take if something like that happens? Do you just like find a lawyer and start working with them? Like, what do you recommend?
So consulates do not work with lawyers. If it is like an H1B petition, then sure, and they're asking for employer documents. If they've told employee, oh, we need list of all employees with the employee is
Yeah,
not going to have access to that. So of
correct.
course, I am the
Mm.
lawyer. I'm going to represent the employer because this is information related to the employer. In
Yeah,
that case, I generally respond to the email with my G28 and explaining I'm the attorney on record, and here it
this is
is,
how it.
the documents that you requested, submitting it in time, and then we generally follow up like reasonably within 30 days, within 60 days.
Got it.
Normally consulates and Department of State says that normal 221G processing timeline is 180 days. So if you're gonna ask, like if it's like a black hole kind of a situation, you don't know what they're asking for, and then it's 180 days. They are not gonna respond to you. They are just gonna be quiet. And if you're gonna ask them before 180 days, probably you're not gonna get an answer. So Department of State says at least wait for 180 days because they think all administrative processing are generally resolved in
Within
180.
it.
So if it is not, then you send them after 180 days, wait for 30 days and send them email
Bye.
for status update. If you don't get a response, wait another 30 days, then send them another status inquiry. And at that point, it's basically you don't really have many recourses because they have the discretion, sitting on it forever if they want to. Now, at this point, if you were like, say, your family is here, you only went for H1B and your kids are US citizens and they are in the US and your spouse is here and you're stuck there, then you might want to go raise a congressional inquiry, go to the congressional rep in your state, city, county, whatever, and then have them follow up with Department of State, giving the reasons why you need to be here and what is the holdup, why it's being in administrative processing, how it can be resolved.
So that's the only way to expedite it then. Right.
Yes. So they generally, it's not that it's going to expedite it, but Department of State kind of respects that and gives an update,
Got
tells
it.
them what's going on. Or if like it is just like, oh, it's a regular process, we are still checking
We still,
background, they will respond and give some
at least
answer.
we will know why versus like a blank
Not
221G. We will,
always,
yeah,
not always, but it might
there's
work.
a chance. There is a
There's
chance
a
that we
chance.
might learn something. Yeah.
Yes, but other than that, you really don't have an option. Some cases, when it is more than a year, you might have an option of trying a mandamus suit in the US. But again, consular non-reviewability applies. So, there is a very little room for the
The
courts to
mandate.
basically ask consular to do anything. But
Got it.
yes, under due process, they could tell them like, hey, this is unreasonable delay if it is pending for 1 year. If you don't want to give visa, that's fine. just refuse it. But you
But
can't sit on
and
an application. So it can work in some cases, but it's not like, oh, now that's your next step and go. It depends on the facts of the case, what's happening. You might want to talk to a lawyer, and obviously, for a suit to be filed in a federal court, you will need a lawyer, and then you will go work from there.
got
Other than that, department counselors generally don't like working with lawyers. They don't want lawyers' letters. They don't address them. They don't
got it.
acknowledge them. So it's basically at that point you are at their mercy.
So there is no timeline as such. Like ideally, you should get it very in within 180 days. If it doesn't happen, then you keep appealing. You work with a congressman. If you know the reason and it's simple, you can quickly email and get it resolved. But there's no timeline. And Sonal, everything you said, if someone has to work with a lawyer, what are the cost implications for that?
Well, it depends. If you still want to, if it's an employer-based petition, like, if I'm following up, it depends what your arrangement with the employer is. I generally charge those on an hourly basis because I don't know how much time I'm going to spend. So
Mm.
whatever a lawyer's hourly charge and their rate with the employer is, probably it could be $100 per inquiry. It could be on an hourly
Okay.
basis. Depends on what the
What?
arrangement of the lawyer with your employer is. If it is like for an H4, and then because H4 is not employer based, right? So if H4 is like, I am the attorney representing the H4 applicant directly, then I can work with them. And again, it's going to be an hourly base, whatever the hourly rate is. I'm just going to quote that because, again,
You don't
it
know.
takes a lot of time going back and forth with them. The only way is to write an email. You don't have a phone number to pick up and call, and like USCIS. So it's not super expensive, but again, there are going to
Yeah,
be
it
some.
just is a long process. So you keep going hourly, and if you get something, then you respond. But no, super helpful. I think this is happening a lot, so we wanted to cover it. So appreciate you taking the time, Sonal. Thank you so much for spending so much of your time with us today. And for everyone who's watched it so far, please consider like, sharing, and subscribing. If there are particular topics you'd like us to cover, please leave that in the comment. We'd love to hear from you. And if things are not going your way, remember, it's okay. Yaar. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much, Sonal. Thank you for watching.
You. All right. Have a great day. Bye bye.